Hello everyone and welcome back to 4 Kilobyte Shorts, the Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program and Kerbal Space Adventures. And I know I keep flipping those back and forth, I don't know which one to say first. But what I will say is that we are about to start our burn towards Duna, and that's going to be in about 2 minutes here. This burn's going to take us a little while, so of course I will be pausing between the burn and our landing. But I wanted to just start the video where I left off, which of course is in Kerbal orbit, because that seems to be what I'm doing with these long builds, where I show a build video and then I show the launch. It seems orbit around Kerbal is the best place to start. So that's where we're going to start from. So here we go, starting our long burn, and with our little propeller magically spinning without actually getting anything done. Hopefully this burn will be good enough to get us where we need to be, and without too much difficulty. And so I will see you guys when we are approaching Duna and ready for the big important part of all this. Yay! So I'll see you guys there. Alright everyone, here we are, or pretty close to it. There's Duna. I was actually able, I'm very proud of this, I was actually able to get to within 100,000 kilometers on just 2 burns. The initial outward burn, and then the corrective burn halfway to Duna. It only took those 2 burns, so I'm getting better. I'm getting better. One of these days I'm going to end up having only a single burn, and that will be a magic day. But for this burn here, this is just going to be the standard corrective burn to make sure that we are in a equatorial orbit with Duna, so that we don't have to worry so much about where we're going to be at the right time. And there's our spinny blade fan. It spins, I believe, because the animation is associated with the throttle control rather than the whether or not it's activated, which is fine. I won't complain about that. Okay, technically speaking, we can turn this off, so we'll do that. And then I think we'll move this over here. I have to be very careful not to touch any of those components, because if I do, we may end up flying out into, or having our balloon open too soon, and we do not want that. Having that happen will be a very bad thing. Okay, so that was a tiny burn, and then once we're here, we're going to do a deorbit burn, of course, absolutely, and that's going to cost us how much fuel? Halfway is about, yay, 1 by 9, okay, 811, so we have so much leftover fuel. This thing was so much lighter than I thought it would be, but that's okay because we are going to have to land it, and we didn't bring a parachute, which means we can't have that balloon just ripping off when we hit atmosphere at like 600 meters per second. So we're going to have to force ourselves to almost a complete stop and then open the balloon, and hopefully the balloon will poof and hold us up. We hope. Has not been tested, so our 3 Kerbal are very happy, but they may not be very happy for very long. So I'm going to get us into our stable orbit, and then, or at least get us to our stable orbit, and then once we're there, we will decide how we're going to proceed. So I'll see you guys when we're closer. Alright everyone, here we are in stable orbit around Duna. I was able to get us a landing trajectory of sorts. So for that, we're going to have to flip around and find our little blue dot. Our magic blue dot tells us where we need to burn all the time, every time. Okay, here it is. Alright. So there's that. Perfect. Alright, then we're going to loop around. We'll watch Ike eclipse the sun. Pretty Ike over there, hanging out, saying hi. And there it goes. Space is a wonderful place. Okay, let's see, 5 minutes left. 4, 3, 2, 1. 20 seconds. We'll go ahead and start with, well, no, we'll leave it right here. We'll be more efficient than not. And there's our burn time. Okay, there we go. And that's going to use up the rest of that fuel to do that part of the burn. Ooh, camera flip. And there goes that here in about 2 seconds. Bye-bye. Alright, there's the rest of our burn. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, so we should be pretty close. A little short, but we can just shore that up with one of these. There you go, closer than not. Perfect. Alright, so let's head on in. Alright, we're at 10. And now we're at 1. So that means we're in atmosphere. Woo! Makes one nervous. Makes one very nervous. Alright. This might actually be one of my better landings, I think. Well, you know, you send enough stuff to Duna, you're eventually going to get better. Unfortunately, I'm very, very, very nervous about this, so I'm kind of being overly. I don't know if I'm being overly cautious or what, but I'm concentrating very, very hard. Let's go ahead and open this up. Oof, our buoyancy is at 100. That's not good at all. Let's go ahead and start our slow down burn, because we're going to need that here in a minute. Okay. So slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. Wonderful. 14 kilometers away, not that bad when you can actually fly, if we can actually fly. I don't know how that's going to work for us. There's a balloon, so that should be slowing us down a little bit, I hope. I hope. Or not. Hard to say. Alright, 200 meters per second is not a good speed. Not liking that speed. Need slower. Must need slower. Okay, 95 meters per second. That's slightly better speed. Slightly better speed. Let's slow ourselves down even more. Alright, 14 meters per second. That's a little better. We're still too heavy, though. That's a big problem, is that we're still too heavy. But let's see how we can bring this thing down, if we can bring it down gently, and then we'll figure out the speed problem later, or the weight problem later. Because getting this thing on the ground is the most important thing, but right now we are too heavy. And we have just enough fuel to kind of slow ourselves down a little bit. Okay. So we're kind of skirting the edge here, I think. Yeah, 87 kilometers a second. Excuse me, 87 meters a second, not 87 kilometers a second. 87 meters a second is not good. We're at 1800. Let's slow ourselves down again. So, 5 meters per second? I can live with that. Oof. Doing an atmosphere is a lot thinner than I thought it was. Crap. Okay. Bring it down, come on. If we can get the Kerbals here alive, that's a start. After that, we'll figure out the rest. Alright. 30 meters per second, still not good. Let's just burn away the rest of our fuel, I guess. Alright, and then I guess we can dump this and pray. Okay, so we went to negative 2.4. Not so bad. Not so good, but not so bad. We are a little bit wobbly, which ain't so good either. Okay, let's just start our engine and let's see if we can get, I don't know, maybe we can get a move, we can get a movement going or something like this way. We'll just kind of stop wobbling so damn much, sir. Okay, so we'll start propelling ourselves forward, I suppose. If nothing else. If nothing else, we'll see how that works. Because we're still at negative 2.4. and we're like 600 feet off the, excuse me, 600 meters off the ground, and neither of those things are good things. Let's spin this way, so we're, yeah, okay. There you go. There you go. Not sure how well this is cutting it. Actually, you know what we can do? Silly as it may seem, we can kind of do that. Okay, we're almost at 0. We're almost at 0. Wow, it was pretty low to the ground for 0. Eek. This might not be very good for anything more than just standard. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh dear. I gotta level this thing out. Gotta level it out. There. Okay, there we go. Get the wobbly sickness out of there. It says net force is 1, but we're still technically going down, right? Yeah. So I think it's trying to compensate. Well, let's reverse this engine and then speed it up, and that should slow us down a little bit. I hope. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright, so net force is now at 2. Our little engine works, but unfortunately we're very low to the ground here on Duna. It does say touch ground to save, and I think we'll go ahead and do that. We will go ahead and do that. So let's bring our winch online. We want to show GUI. We want to bring the winch down to the ground. 200 meters, or 10 meters of it, or however far it is to the ground from here. Well, that's not so bad. I guess it just looks, it looks like we're closer to the ground than we really are. I'm not sure with that. Okay. Come on. How high up are we? 142, 34 meters from the ground. So this will have to go down to 34 before it even touches. Should hit about now. Boink. Oh, there with a shadow. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring ourselves down by about 1 meter per second. And we can use physical time acceleration for this. It's not that dangerous, strangely enough. Yeah, I know. There you go. Get that sandbag locked in. Once it's locked in, you can come down. Alright, wonderful. And we want to go down a little bit more. I think. What happened to my GUI? Airship anchor is idle. Oh, okay. Well, we've stopped. We've stopped. So we're going to go ahead and make slow to save, and that slows down the clock, which is nice. And then from here, I'm going to get ourselves kind of set up and floating in that direction. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's bring this back up. That's the wrong way, isn't it? Yes, it is. We want to go this way. Okay, and we want ourselves at 0 meters per second. And that's probably going to have to make us go back up to... Oh, really? Only 93%? Okay, so now that it's kind of stabilized itself, our buoyancy is very close to max, I'm afraid, unfortunately. Now, this will have a max ceiling. We can actually make it go to max ceiling if we wanted to. That would probably only be about 300 meters, if that, at this point. And because of that, I'm not entirely sure how that will work. But let's get moseying over towards where we want to be, which is closer to our base of ops, our ops base. Now that is definitely going to take a little while, so I'm going to cut here for the moment. And then as soon as we get closer to our 8 and 10 kilometer away guys over here, or 8 kilometer away guys over here, I will come back and we'll get this thing set down, and we'll have our Kermans see each other and say hi to each other and see what's up. So I will see you guys there, I swear. Alright everybody, here we are. Very sorry for the super slow frame rate. It does have a similar issue that we had on the space station. There's so much stuff out here. at this base that it automatically slows down the frame rate really bad. That comes from my design of my machine, not so much any other issue that we may have. Let's go ahead and slow down. We're about 700 meters away. Oh yeah, very bad lag specky. So okay, we're gonna kind of float in. I think might not be perfect. Of course, we can always reverse our engine as needed, so we can just say like reverse and then throttle up. Totally awesome that has a reverse on it. Nice little add-on for everybody. Okay, kind of keep an eye on our base down there. Oh, might need to slow down even more. Now, because this thing isn't built perfectly symmetrically, and I think it's because of this rod right here, I do have a little bit of difficulty keeping it straight, but it's not so bad because we're not going super high speeds. Alright, so that should be close enough, right? Hey, look at that, right down there. Alright, now we gotta bring ourselves down. This is the part that I have to be very careful of, because I have to bring myself down, but I have to do it in such a fashion that I don't hit the ground at high speed. The ceiling on this is about 300 meters. Whether that's 300 meters sea level or 300 meters from dirt, it's hard to say. It's hard to tell. I think it's 300 meters sea level, so I don't know if we'll ever... Pardon me. I do not know if we will be able to use this to get out of the valley. That is something we'll have to figure out as time goes on. But for now, this is how we're going to have to do this. Let's see if we can... There you go. Slow ourselves down a little bit more. So it's a little bit like docking, a little bit like not. Alright. Let's bring ourselves down by what, 2 meters a second, you think? See how that works for us. Alright. We will time accelerate a little bit. Very carefully, mind you. Alright, so our true altitude is about 100 meters. Alright, here we go. 50 meters. Okay, we'll say 0, which should slow us down a little bit. How much? I don't know. Alright, there we go. We can also force it to speed us up a little bit by going this way. So we say like 1 meter a second in the other direction. And that would slowly fill the gas up until we're about where we want to be. Okay, let's go ahead and drop our ball to the ground there. That'll give us... That actually kind of gives us a depth meter too, because it tells us exactly where we're located. Alright, perfect. No. Stay there. Whoop. It bounced us up. Yeah, it takes a little bit of effort to pilot this, I'm afraid. Ooh. Back down. Low gravity plus balloon plus smashing something into the dirt. Not a good set of things to do. Alright, so that should come down all nice and gentle. We hope. We hope. Sort of ish. Okay, gonna take me a minute to get this thing actually on the ground with low gravity, so I'll get that done really quick here, and then we will move on to the next portion. Okay, everybody, finally on the ground. Low gravity, not helpful. Low gravity is not helpful when you're trying to get a balloon to touch down using the weight of a sandbag, just so you know. Something I had to learn the hard way. Unfortunately, I didn't learn well enough, and we still have a few meters to go, so you guys get to see exactly how crazy this becomes when you're trying to do this. So we're going to say 0.5 meters. 0.5 meters, almost enough. Really, I thought the ladder was lower. Maybe it was, and I was just blind, I don't know. Very wobbly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We can actually almost just touch down and it would be fine. Yeah. So, very, very low. All my Kerbin are extremely happy. I guess that's fine. Okay, that will have to be close enough, because in Duna atmosphere you can kind of fiddle with it. Now, since I don't know this guy's name, he's going to be our EVA for today. He's going to be our EVA guy, because I don't know his name off the top of my head. I can't read it from there. Halkis is his name. Halkis Kerman. Okay, so he's going to be our first balloon pilot Kerman onto the planet's surface. So not as meritorious as being the first Kerman totally, but pretty damn awesome. So there it is. There we have our gigantic balloon. Not as useful on Duna as I had originally hoped. I had actually messed up the atmosphere readings. I had used this, and the atmosphere reading on this is actually at sea level roughly 0.2, not 0.8. Lathe has an atmospheric reading of 0.8. So a balloon of this size and shape would actually have been much better on Lathe, or would be much better on Lathe than it is on Duna. But it works on Duna if you can get it down safely. So there it is. There's our balloon exploration vehicle. So from here, I guess that means it's time to explore. We have 6 whole Kerman on Duna in a base. Downside only being that there's only one escape ship and it only holds 3 Kerman. So I guess whoever gets there faster wins, right? Yeah. So for this episode, I would like to thank you all for joining me for Kilobyte Short on this episode of Kerbal Space Adventures, Kerbal Space Program. And we will go exploring probably next video, I think. I think it's about time we actually do some real-life exploring. So I will see you